Moving on to the Los Angeles Rams. Last season, they went 10-6, third in offense and first in defense, but still held a 10-6 record, which is weird. This offseason, they lost Jared Goff, linebacker Michael Brockers, tight end Gerald Everett, wide receiver Josh Reynolds, safety John Johnson III, and cornerback Troy Hill. But they did sign Deshaun Jackson, and they acquired Matthew Stafford from the Lions. In the draft, they picked a wide receiver, Tutu Atwell, in round 2. Alex, why are the Rams going to have a fantastic year this year?
Well, they have a reliable quarterback. And, as much as Matt Stafford has never won a playoff game, he's also been in Detroit for his whole career. So, oof. He and just oof, Sean McVay and Matt Stafford are going to be able to connect just like he did with Jared Goff until Goff decided to just stop being good at playing football for whatever reason. That wide receiver core is one of the almost underrated. It's kind of starting to get some love. Tyler Higbee is probably one of the most underrated tight ends in football. That offensive line is better. It's still not going to be, I don't think, like one of the top offensive lines in football, but it should be good enough to get it done. And when you have the best defensive player on the planet in Aaron Donald, that makes everyone else on that defensive side just that much better. They did lose a lot of key guys. Troy Hill and John Johnson III specifically are going to be kind of brutal. But the Rams are one of those teams that just seem to find players in the secondary that just ball out. I don't know how they do it, but you look at Darius Williams last year, led the team in interceptions. He was a monster. He'll be back. Obviously, everyone has kind of a differing opinions on Jalen Ramsey, but he is still a pretty good cornerback. And I just think with Matt Stafford, Sean McVay, that whole team, they're going to be good. They're going to be really good. They're definitely one of the contenders in the NFC West.
Tyler, I'm surprised you took the against part of this, but why are the Rams going to suck?
Yeah, I'm a Rams fan, so I just wanted to challenge myself a little bit and just kind of come up with why I think the Rams may not be as good as I think they will be. And there's really two main reasons. One is, the defense was number one defense last year. There's a lot of change, a lot of departures, as Alex mentioned, and they have a new defensive coordinator with a lot of different changes going on. I think that their defense will still be very good. I just don't think they're going to be as incredibly shut down as they were last season. So their defense is going to take a little bit of a drop. Is Matt Stafford, is he going to offset that a little bit? Hopefully he will. I think on paper he will. But the defense for me is going to be a concern in terms of how they're going to meld with all the new pieces. Obviously, as you mentioned, having Aaron Donald on the team, that's already a huge deal. So I think they'll be good, but not as good as they were last year. And number two is this Rams team is really top heavy. They don't have a ton of depth. So what concerns me about them is if they get hurt or they get a couple guys that go down with injuries, they're going to be in trouble because they haven't had a first-round draft pick in, 5 years or something crazy. So they're really, really top heavy. So they have to stay healthy, which in football is not the easiest thing to do. So that's the other thing that concerns me. So injuries is going to be a big thing for the Rams. If they start getting hurt, this team's going to go downhill real quick because I just don't think they have a lot of depth on that team. Other than that, Alex, I agree with what you said. I think they're a very good team. I think they're one of the favorites to win the division, but just those couple of concerns there.
What's the record going to be?
I'm going to go 13-4. So I think they will win the division by one game. It's going to be real close with those teams in there, but I'm going to go 13-4.
Alex,
I agree, 13-4. I am worried about their depth, but just the top end talent is some of the best in the league, and I'm just going to believe 13-4. They're going to win the division.
I agree with both of you guys. I think the same thing. Matt Stafford is a clear upgrade over Jared Goff. He actually has an O-line that can defend him, so he's not running for his life anymore. More time to read, more time to throw. Way more accurate, can throw the deep ball, everything. Matt Stafford, way better than Jared Goff. I am concerned with Andrew Whitworth, though, at left tackle. The dude's getting up there in age. He's 39. I watched him on Hard Knocks last year, and he was struggling to get through training camps. I don't know if another season is going to really push him over the edge. But other than that, like you had mentioned, it's like there's no more depth. So once he goes out, there's your anchor. Who else is going to take that left tackle spot? Who's going to defend Stafford's blind side? If that goes down, you got to take Cam Akers and have him do a chip block, and that takes away that weapon. That's concerning. The offense, though, Kupp and Woods, amazing. Cam Akers is going to have a hell of a year. I'm super excited to see him and see what he's about to do as a number one back in this offense. But my main concerns will be on the defense and how many people they lost. That cornerback position and that safety position, it's going to be tough to recover from. Traden, what do you think?
I see 12-5.
Why?
Because I mean,
All right.
I don't think they're going to be as good as you guys say, but because I obviously have the Niners above that. So they're going to be fighting for that top spot, 12-5.
And Eric.
I got them 12-5. Kind of agreeing with Alex, the offensive upgrades. And, you know, I've talked a lot of shit on Matt Stafford because he was my first fantasy quarterback ever, but he was on the Lions. So I'm going to give him a new shot, new chance. Who knows? Maybe I'll have him in fantasy, but I guess my one concern is, you know, they're losing a lot of the defense. That was the number one defense last year. And so Tyler has a point, you know, there's changes, and you hope that the changes are going to be, you know, not too detrimental to them. But 12-5, the offense will make up for the defense last year.
All right, let's talk fantasy. Quarterback position, Matt Stafford being drafted at 114, so pretty much undrafted. But he's going after Jalen Hurts and before Joe Burrow. Out of those three, who'd you pick, Alex?
Oof. I'd actually probably pick Joe Burrow. As you know, he didn't pick the Bengals did not pick the offensive lineman like they thought they were going to. But he teamed up with his college wide receiver, and they already seem to be meshing. But I can see Matt Stafford definitely being your reserve quarterback, your bye week guy. He's going to throw a lot, and he's got two elite wide receivers. He could be a surprise, like sneaky good quarterback, but he's not going to end up as a top 10 guy probably because he doesn't run.
At running back, you got Cam Akers. He's being drafted at 20 right now. What is your projection on him this season being the number one running back in the bell cow for the first time in his career?
I expect big things from Cam Akers. I could see him ending up as a top 10 running back. I don't know if he's going to push guys like Dalvin Cook or Derrick Henry, but he could definitely be a very good running back. Possible double-digit scores. He can definitely catch a little bit out of the backfield, which is always, you know, a positive. I expect big things definitely from Cam Akers.
Where did he finish?
Let's say number in running back rankings.
Yes.
Let's say number 9.
Wow, top 10 finish. I like it. And last but not least, let's talk wide receivers. You got Cooper Kupp, who finished at 26 last year, and Robert Woods, who finished at 14 last year. Currently, though, Cooper Kupp is being drafted at 63, and Robert Woods is being drafted at 48. So would you rather have Robert Woods in the 4th round or Cooper Kupp in the 6th round?
I mean, for their value, you almost kind of want to take Cooper Kupp in the 6th because you can get better value in the 4th. Kupp seems to be the one that's targeted more often and gets more yards, but Robert, at least, and this is in the Jared Goff era, so who knows, this could all change. But Robert Woods is the one that scores more often, so you kind of have to pick and choose your battles. But I might take Kupp in the 6th and then, you know, get a second running back earlier on. But I think both of those guys are going to have a big step up compared to their numbers from last year because they have a more competent quarterback.
Like it.